Mr. Glynn Simmons,
Yes, sir.
thank you for taking time out to speak with me today.
Not a problem. Bless it.
There's a lot that's being said about the state of the justice system,
Right.
specifically here in Oklahoma. You've had a personal encounter with that.
Absolutely.
Tell me your story.
Well, in 1975, I was wrongly convicted for murder and sentenced to death row for murder I didn't commit. Because of certain legal procedures, procedural defaults, procedural bars and stuff, the courts would never look at my claims of actual innocence, colorable showings of actual innocence. And for 48 years, I couldn't get justice, So for the last 30 years, I was sought mercy through the parole board and other entities, because mercy trumps justice. What's no way in the world I was supposed to stay in jail 48 years for a crime I didn't commit when I had in my hands evidence showing I didn't do it, but because of some legislative rule called procedural default, procedural bars, they was precluded from looking at the merits of what I was presenting. In Oklahoma, if you know the history of Oklahoma, this used to be called the Badlands. This is where all the criminals ran to.
What would you say to people who would say, Mr. Simmons, you were in prison for 48 years for a crime you didn't commit. I empathize with you. I'm so sorry you had to go through that ordeal. But you're an anomaly.
What's that mean?
Meaning, like, your case is not the norm. That's not the your case is
unprecedented.
But we still feel that the death penalty is appropriate. The death penalty works. What would you say to them?
Absolutely not. No, it don't work. 50 years ago, the governor of Oklahoma signed my death warrant. I still got a copy of it. I signed my death warrant. And you should be executed in the electric chair on October 7th, 1975 at a certain time. And who's supposed to? I got the warrant for my death. Now, 48 years later, they say I'm actually innocent, right? My question is, how many innocent people have you put to death in those 48 years? That's my objection to the death penalty.
The death penalty is not a deterrent.
It's not a deterrent. No, it's not a deterrent. Death penalty is not a deterrent to crime. Matter of fact, the anti-crime bill that they passed enhanced all the sentences and stuff. Wasn't no deterrent to crime. I watched it for 40 years.
I think you're referring to the 94 crime bill.
Yeah, the 94 crime bill. I watched it for 40 years.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm in the prison. Right? When I come to Oklahoma, it's 7 prisons. When I got out, it was 47 prisons. And I'm in prison with guys' grandfathers and stuff. This is generational stuff. When they, locked them up in 94, 93. Now they're still in there. They're old folks because of them crime bills that they passed.
For someone that was falsely in prison, wrongly in prison for 48 years, I don't hear bitterness and resentment in you.
Maybe you don't hear it because it's not there. Maybe I left it where it was.
Walk me through that process. How difficult was that?
You see that? What'd that say?
It says no hate.
No hate. That's the narrative. No hate after 48. That's been on my hand for 50 years. And hate. I didn't know what hate was until, years after the end of the penitentiary. Then I realized when I put this on that I didn't have a clue.
If one innocent person is being put to death, is that one too many?
Yes. Yes. And yes, it is. One too many.
What would you say to the citizens of Oklahoma who may be on the fence about the death penalty, their feelings towards the death penalty, what would you say, given your experience, about why a moratorium needs to be put in place here in the state of Oklahoma?
I think the people of Oklahoma is opposed to the death penalty.
The death penalty is built upon vengeance, retribution, punishment. It's human nature for us to want those things.
Is it?
How do we combat that human nature to have the mindset that you have?
You got me twisted. I want revenge and all of that shit. I'm human too. I'm just saying. But it's a matter of how you handle it, how you deal with it. People think, well, you did all that time and you don't seem to have no bitterness, just no hatred. Bullshit. How can you not? I'm not gonna,
So you have it, but you just don't
absolutely.
reveal it.
Well, here's the thing. Anger, bitterness, hatred, it's all energy, bro. It's all energy. You need energy to make it work. So I got it. So I use it for energy. I just wire more about what I do. You can do. I just take the energy and handle it for good things, man. I got it. Still got the hatred and the bitterness and the anger. That ain't went nowhere. But I turned it into something else. It is what it is. Too much salt in it. You don't eat all of it. And so I just look at it in certain ways, bro. Look up one day I was in cell 112. And the next day, I'm sitting in Poor Boy's restaurant. In Pearl's restaurant, eating the Poor Boy sandwich. It's a manifestation of Christ. Why I'm more about the things I do, you can do even greater. Wait. I got out of prison with stage 4 liver cancer. 4 months later, cancer started retreating. That's the manifestation of the restoration of my health. 6 months after prison, I didn't work on nobody's job, didn't sell no product, but the generous contribution of people around the world had raised $500,000. 6 months out. That's the restoration. That's the accumulation of my wealth. That is what Christ is talking about.